Okay, so imagine the history books you know. You've got World War II, the beaches of Normandy, the North African desert, the tanks, all of it.
All that grit.
Right. Now take that image and just tear a jagged hole right through it. And inside that tear, it's not just politics or armies. It's ancient tentacled sorcery.
It's Nazi occultists trying to summon things that, really shouldn't exist.
And the most important part of that whole picture is you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise.
Yeah.
You aren't just watching this. You're there, in the mud, holding a submachine gun in one hand and maybe a forbidden spell book in the other.
Welcome to our deep dive into Achtung Cthulhu 2D20. We've been digging through the player's guide, the quick start rules, all those amazing regional guides.
North Africa, the Antarctic, yeah.
To answer one really practical question, how do you actually build a hero for a world this insane?
And it's such a vital question because you can't just roll up a generic soldier and expect to last. We're going to walk through forging a character from their raw attributes all the way to the dark secrets that might drive them mad.
Yeah. And the sources are so clear about this. It isn't just history with monsters. It's a deliberate mashup of pulp adventure and cosmic horror. You're fighting what they call the secret war.
Right. And you're up against these two main groups. You have the Black Sun.
Your classic Nazi sorcerers.
Yep. Foul magic, summoning rituals, all that. And then you have their rivals, Nachfelfe.
The weird science guys.
The weird science guys. Bioenhancements, looting lost Atlantean tech.
It gets wild.
So our mission today is pretty simple. Demystify this 2D20 system and get you ready to play. Whether you want to be a hard-bitten commando or, I don't know, a terrified librarian who's in way over their head.
And for new players, this is your roadmap. What's so interesting to me, though, looking at the mechanics, is that things like truths or focuses, they aren't just math. They're narrative tools. They tell you who your character is before you've even said a word.
Well, let's unpack that, because before we start picking out cool gear, we have to talk about the philosophy. The sources mention something they call the silver rule. I love the silver rule. It's technically advice for the game master, but players really need to hear it too. It just says, the game master isn't against the players.
Which is, let's be honest, a huge relief when you know you're fighting Cthulhu.
Right. Usually that means your character's about to become a pile of goo.
Exactly.
But the text really emphasizes that while the villains want to kill you, the GM's job is just to make your life interesting. Success is great, but failure is just a plot twist. It's cinematic.
So if you fail a roll to pick a lock, it's not just, well, the door's stuck, it's
you get the door open, but you hear Book stomping down the hall.
Okay. It keeps the story moving.
Always. And that whole vibe connects directly to step one of character creation. Attributes.
Yeah.
These are your foundation.
Okay, let's look at the sheet. There are 6 stats here. What are the raw building blocks?
So every character is defined by 6 attributes: agility, brawn, coordination, insight, reason, and will.
Pretty standard body and mind stuff.
Mostly. But the distinctions are important, like agility versus coordination. New players sometimes trip on that.
Going.
Agility is your big movements, dodging a tentacle, balancing on a ledge. Coordination is your fine motor skills, picking a lock, aiming a rifle, driving a jeep.
So you could be clumsy on your feet but have the hands of a surgeon.
Precisely. High coordination, low agility. Same with reason versus insight. Reason is your book smarts, your logic. Insight is your gut feeling, your empathy. Can you tell if that guy's lying?
And I see here they all start at a baseline of 6.
That's a big deal. A 6 is an average human. It means even before you spend a single point, your character is competent. You're not helpless. You start on equal footing.
So you have this raw potential. Now we get to the fun part. Step 2. Choosing your archetype. This feels like a class from other games, but the names are very 1940s.
They're fantastic, aren't they? This is your big choice, your job in the secret war. And the list in the player's guide is so much more than just soldier.
I was immediately drawn to the boffin. Such a great word.
The boffin is a classic. It's your scientist, your engineer, the person who can figure out what that glowing Nazi artifact actually does. And they're not stuck in a lab, and they're in the field with you.
Then you've got your grease monkey for mechanics, con artist for deception.
Infiltrator for spies, investigator for detective work, and maybe the most dangerous one, the occultist.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea. Fighting fire with fire?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You're using the enemy's own tools against them. And choosing an archetype isn't just flavor. It gives you direct bonuses to attributes and skills. You also get a special talent and, really importantly, your starting gear.
Right. A soldier gets a rifle and webbing, a boffin gets a toolkit.
Exactly. It gives you a role on the team right away. A commander buffs their allies, an infiltrator sneaks ahead. New players know instantly what they should be doing.
Okay, so we know what you do, but not who you are. And that brings us to nationality and background. This is where those truths you mentioned really come into play.
Truths are a core mechanic here. A truth is just a fact about the scene. It's dark, can be a truth, but I'm a French resistance fighter is a truth about you.
So let's talk nationality. You've got the UK, the USA, the obvious ones. But I was digging into the guide to North Africa and found some amazing examples of how it's not just about your accent. It changes the math.
Oh yeah, the expansion books add so much depth. Your nationality is a truth, so you can speak a language or know a local custom, but you also get these unique mechanical edges.
The one that jumped out was Indian professionalism.
That is such a great one. The Indian Army in North Africa was this incredibly professional force. So in the game, if your character is from one of those units, you get to roll an 8-sided die at D8 instead of the normal D6 when you fire a rifle.
That's a huge statistical jump.
It really is. It represents that superior training and discipline. It mechanically proves these guys are sharpshooters.
Or the New Zealanders with the Long-Range Desert Group, the LRDG.
The Masters of the Desert. If you play one of them, you basically just ignore certain penalties for navigation that would leave other teams completely lost.
And the guide even mentions naval stuff, like the HMNZS Leander.
Right. So you could play a naval character in the Med, which is, a terrifying place to be in a Cthulhu game. Bad things live in deep water.
So your nationality gives you a skill set. Now let's look at background. This is what you did before the war.
Or at least before you got recruited by Section M or Majestic.
Mm-hmm.
And the list is wild. Academic, athlete, criminal.
Politician? Really?
Even a politician, yeah.
I get why a criminal is useful, but why a politician?
Social maneuvering. The secret war isn't all gunfights. Sometimes you have to convince a mayor to evacuate a town or bluff your way through a checkpoint. A politician can talk their way out of things a soldier would have to shoot their way out of.
There's one background that really got me, though. My war started early.
That's a powerful one. It's for characters who fought in, say, the Spanish Civil War.
The text says, war is a horror show, but for you it's become alarmingly mundane.
It's pretty grim.
Yeah.
Mechanically, you get boosts to things like fighting and medicine. You just harder to shake. You've already seen too much.
Speaking of seeing too much, the Antarctic dossier has some civilian jobs that are terrifyingly relevant, like antiquarian or parapsychologist.
That's the whole Professor Jones angle. You need these people. The text mentions that Allied Command brings in occult consultants because they know what they're up against.
So you don't just need someone to blow the door on a Nazi bunker.
You need someone who can read the weird sigils on the door so you don't unleash something awful. In this game, knowledge is firepower.
This connects to something I wanted to ask, because character creation can sound so dry, like you're filling out a form, but the pre-made examples in the quick start are just, they're wild.
They absolutely are. They're designed to show you just how far you can crank that pulp dial.
I'm looking at two specifically, Natalia and Ariane.
Yes. Natalia. She's a Belarusian tank commander. But she's not just a good driver. The book says she's possessed by the raw fury of the deep forests.
That does not sound like standard military training.
Not at all. It's a truth about her. She channels this rage that lets her push her tank beyond its limits. It feels almost magical.
And then there's Ariane from the French resistance.
Who is, and I quote, bound to an ancient demon.
Okay, so let's be clear. You can be pact bound to a demon and still be one of the good guys.
You can. And this is key to the tone. The book says our characters walk a fine line between light and dark. Ariane uses that demon's power to kill Nazis. Is it costing her soul? Probably. But she's saving the world.
It's like the game is begging you to embrace the weird. You're not just a soldier. You're touched by the same cosmic horror you're fighting.
Which is a great segue into the finishing touches, the gear. Because if I'm fighting a demon, I want some good equipment. And the gear in these books is so evocative.
I was reading about the Delisle Commando carbine.
A classic. It's a suppressed .45 caliber rifle. And the description says the only sound it makes is the click of the bolt.
Perfect for sneaking into a Black Sun ritual.
You do not want to go in loud. And then there's the weirder stuff, like the S-phone.
Oh, the resistance radio?
Yeah, but the detail that sells it is how the pilots find you. They know they're in the right spot for an airdrop when they fly into a zone of radio silence right above you.
That's such a cool image. It's tech that feels like magic.
But then you have actual magic.
Well,
like the Green Knight gem.
now that is a double-edged sword. It's an artifact that can heal your injuries.
Sounds great. I'll take one.
Not so fast. The book says using it generates threat.
Okay, let's pause. Define threat for someone new to 2020.
Threat is the GM's resource. Players get a resource called momentum to do cool stuff. The GM gets threat to make bad stuff happen.
So using the gem heals me, but gives the GM ammo to use against me later.
Exactly. And narratively, it also blights the land around you.
So I heal my arm, but the grass dies.
Yep. It sucks the life out of the world to fix you. Every advantage has a cost.
Okay, so we got our background, our demon packs, our weird gear. We should touch on the engine underneath all this. Step 5. Skills.
Right. If attributes are your raw potential, skills are your training.
And they're capped at the start.
Yeah, capped at 5. Things like fighting, resilience, survival. But the real detail comes from focuses.
So what's the difference between a skill and a focus?
A focus is a specialty within a skill. So your skill might be engineering, but your focus could be Atlantean technology.
So you're the one they call when the weird alien death ray starts sputtering.
Exactly. Or your skill is fighting, but your focus is handguns. It means two soldiers with the same fighting score can feel totally different. One's a sniper, one's a close quarters brawler.
And then there are talents.
Talents are your special moves, usually from your archetype. They let you break the rules in small, cool ways.
I want to circle back to truths one last time because it feels like the glue holding this all together.
It really is. A truth defines reality. Your nationality is a truth. Your background is a truth. But even your psychological scars can be a truth.
Like what?
Well, there's an NTC example who has the truth agoraphobia because he was exposed to some weird crystal.
And how does that work at the table?
It means if he tries to go outside, the GM can make it way harder, or just say no. That truth is a real mechanical part of him. But if you have a truth like raised by a cult,
Which is a real option.
it is. That truth might help you decipher cult writings, but it might make it harder for you to talk to a stuffy British officer.
I love that. It forces you to actually play your backstory.
It makes every choice you made matter every single time you roll the dice.
Okay, so let's recap the flow for someone sitting there with a blank character sheet.
It's a logical path. First, attributes. Are you strong? Are you smart?
Then archetype, what's your job? Soldier, occultist, boffin.
Step 3, nationality. Where are you from? That gives you a core truth.
4 is background. What did you do before the war?
And then you finish it all off with your skills, your focuses, and picking out that cool gear.
And at the end, you don't just have a page of numbers.
No, you have a pulp hero. Someone who is very competent, the game wants you to succeed, but who is also incredibly vulnerable to the horrors of the mythos.
And that vulnerability is everything. You're not superheroes. You're just people pushing back the dark.
Which brings us to the core question of the entire game.
Right. There's a line in the quick start that just perfectly sums it all up. It asks, what sacrifices will you make to defeat the Cthulhu mythos?
It's a serious question. Are you going to stick with your trusty revolver even when the bullets just bounce off? Or are you going to start digging into those forbidden books?
And if you start digging into those books, if you start casting those spells to save your friends, do you risk becoming the very thing you're fighting?
That's the question every player has to answer, usually right before everything goes sideways.
So grab your dice, pick your archetype, and maybe don't read the Latin out loud. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Good luck out there. You are absolutely going to need it.